Hello everybody, this is Ender's Diamond. Welcome back to another Fallout 76 video. And in this video, I'm going to be discussing my questions and answers to many of them. So, let us get straight into it. So the first thing I want to say is that these are all questions, but the answers have been given by Todd Howard or people working on the game. So just know that the answers are 100%, things that are real and facts, while my questions are just my opinions and questions. So the first question is, can I stay on the same world? So it's been very wishy-washy and things have sort of been changing. Do I load into a new server each time? Will the world have changed? How does this all work? Now what they said is that, okay, if I put a camp somewhere and then I leave the world and then I come back on, the camp will reappear in that world unless that space is already occupied. So it's interesting, but that's still a question I have. Are there map markers? And it seems like there are, but do I discover them like per world, or do I discover them once I've discovered it travels with all the worlds with me? Another very important question. Do quests come with you when you switch worlds? And I think a lot of these things I'll get into answers for, but do quests come with me? Do the people who give quests, have they been like, as the game said, yes, he's progressed this far in the story, so let's move that with him? How does that all work? And how does it work with friends? How do I connect servers with my friends? And this is a big one that they've definitely answered, but do I just have to like try and get everybody at the same time on the server? I don't know, it could be complicated. Next thing is, how hard is it to get nukes? Are nukes a rare experience that you will be rarely nuked and you'll be like okay with it because you know how much work it went into it? Or is it the kind of thing where it's like, oh my god, another one, this is the third in the last 2 hours? So we'll have to see how that works out. Can you move far away from friends, or is it like Far Cry? Now Far Cry, there's sort of a tethering system where neither player can move too far away from each other, but that's a very different style of game. If they would have that in this game, it would completely ruin it. So I highly doubt that's going to be a thing, but it is possible. Can you find your friends in your world? And this is again another thing that they have answered, but can you find your friends? If I know that Bob, Joe, and Billy split up, can I go hunt them down without having to be like, oh, where are you? Okay, I'm near this mountain. What mountain? Can I just find them? So the next thing is, do the robots talk? Now my assumption is yes, and they've kind of announced something very interesting. There are no raiders, but there are these things called the Scorched, which are essentially ghouls that shoot guns. And they're raiders that aren't called raiders in humans. I don't really understand why they couldn't have just put in humans. I mean, I guess you want to know that every time you encounter a human, it's a real person, but they act the same as a raider, so that's their raider. What are the wait times like? Is it going to take me forever to start the loading screen into a game, or am I just going to press play, loading screen? How long is it going to be to fast travel? Is it going to be super long? Is half my gameplay going to be just, what's going on here? We'll have to see. Are there resources, and how do I get them? How do I get these resources? Can I mine that area? If I have an area, can I destroy everything in it? Does that mean I can literally just go around the map and have just plain area where there's no trees and no buildings? How does that all work? And are there special weapons like in Fallout 4? Do quest givers give out weapons? Are there weapons scattered around the world? If someone gets one in one world, can I not get that weapon? How does that all work? So now let's go over answers to a few of these questions. First off, we know there is trading. They have said that there is trading. You can set up a booth and trade with other players for caps. What this means is that there's trading. Trading, meaning you will trade with other players. So that takes place with vendors, which is nice. And I could see that being very cool, setting up a shop, having other people come to it. That's awesome, right? Making caps, selling stuff you don't need, especially in late game when you have tons of stuff that you just don't need. That could be very cool. The unfortunate thing, the thing they talked about as a possibility, is I don't want to stand at a shop for 5 hours waiting for someone to come, because it's likely that I'm not going to just set up a shop and everyone's just going to be lining out the door, right? I want to just have it be there, but I want to be able to get the right prices. So here's what my hope is, and they said this. They said you may be able to implement a robot vendor, so I can set up a shop and say, okay, vendor, here's all you have, here are my set prices, or here are the preset prices, go sell. And it just stands there, and when someone comes up and says, hi, can I help you, or something like that, and then the person can trade with it. And then when I want, I can stand at the shop if I'm like, oh yeah, my friends are going to come trade with me, okay, cool, and I bring them back to my base, and I'm like, hey, let's trade. But that's something that's going to be very good, because if they do implement that, it'll make trading so much easier, because yes, you can just find someone in the world and be like, oh hey, let's trade, but odds are they're just going to shoot you, so you want to be able to have other people come up to your robot where they can't just shoot the robot. I mean, they can, but it doesn't do very much. Maybe it kills the robot, but nothing actually happens. You can just repair it when you get home. It's like, it would make it so much easier, because if you see someone's robot, you're like, okay, I could kill this robot, but the only problem is they lose like 5 steel repairing it, so that's really just stupid and a waste of my time and theirs. So why not just trade with it, and then maybe I'll kill it at the end. But then you've made some bottle caps for the end at that point. So that's very good. Nukes destroy your stuff completely, but you can rebuild it, right? So essentially, when you nuke somewhere, it is gone, but you can just, like, the blueprint's all there, you can just, like, put some resources into it, it seems, and then get it all rebuilt and pre-built and made. So that's pretty neat and very exciting. There is a main storyline. They did say this, there is a main storyline. Like, why are you here? Why are there no other people? What are these creatures doing here? How did this happen? So that's all a story, and they do have very fascinating ways of giving it out. It will be a story. There will be a story. It's not as if it's going to be like, this is sort of the wannabe partial story. There will be a full sort of story. However, it won't have that full, like, NPC quest-giving sort of thing, but there will be quests and story. So that's all very good to see. If you see a player, if I see Bob's on, can I just press join game? Because that's something very interesting. I'd really like to be able to join someone's game. I want to be able to join my friend's game. I don't want to say, oh, why don't you leave your game and you come on and then you leave. I want to just be able to say, ah, yes, this guy's on, let's join his game. Now, they do have a player cap, which brings me on to my next point in the world, so I don't know how that'll work. There are a max of between 24 and 32 players in a world, which is more than 12 and less than 50. I mean, obviously you can do that math, but it's like, they said dozens, so that means not a dozen, but not like 5 dozen. So it'll be like between 6 and like 8 people in the equivalent of a Fallout world, if that sort of makes any sense to you guys. Like, I can imagine that. There will be essentially 6 to 8 other people. So that'd be like if there were 6 to 8 NPCs that you encountered slightly more often in the regular Fallout world, because it's 4 and you're dividing the number by 4, so... Anyways, that is something that is very interesting. So, the next thing is, can you have multiple characters? And the answer is yes, you can have multiple characters. If you want to have a good character, bad character, overpowered character, start a new character because your character is overpowered. You want to have your friend's character, your solo character, your character that you started in the beta, your character that whatever. You can have these characters. So that is something that is very important to remember. Now, the next thing is VATS is still in there. Don't worry, VATS fans, it is still a thing. Now, I used VATS so much, but I didn't use it in the endgame. By the time nothing could kill me, I was like, okay, it takes too long to pick a target, watch the slow-mo. I just don't want to deal with that. But VATS is here. Now, obviously, it doesn't slow the game down because everything's in real time. But the nice thing is that it's still there. It's just a real-time version of VATS. Now, it could be very difficult, because I don't know, like, if they're just blowing your brains out, you're gonna have to pick your targets very fast, not gonna have a lot of time to think and debate, so you have to be like, moving around, oh, got your target, can you still move with VATS? I don't know, we'll have to see. It'll be a bit of a more difficult system, but it'll still help those who don't have the perfect aim. Next thing is, there are perks. There are still the basic perks, endurance, strength, intelligence, charisma, so forth, and they have perk cards. Now, from what we've seen, there are only 3 perk cards per perk, so that means you only have 3 things you can have active per perk. They might have more. They said it's extraordinarily expansive, and maybe they just only showed a few. But you can only have 1 activated. So you can upgrade heavily in a perk, invest in that perk, like invest a lot in strength, but then you can only have 1 of those strength buffs activated. So if you can imagine the Fallout tree, imagine if you can invest like up to 10 strength, but you can only have 1 of those options below it activated at a time for each skill. So you can have 1 for intelligence, 1 for strength. It's not as if there's just 1 activated. So that's something that I'm a bit upset about. I would have preferred to just have the standard system where you can just get an OP character, because that's fun when you get to such super late games. And it seems like it'd be fun to just continuously level up in this game. I don't want to get to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm really making difficult decisions here because I should have this because I'm level 40 and I've got all these perk points invested, but they're not doing anything. At this point, me investing perk points is just worthless. So I hope that they keep value in investing perk points worth it in the late game. Alright, mostly the quests are from robots. We've sort of heard that, but they're very heavily from robots. I mean, it's not just like environmental storytelling, it's really robots. Robots play a big role in that. Mothman is different and acts strange. As we know, there are lots of different characters and creatures in this game, but Mothman is actually different. So Mothman will act a little bit different. He's strange. Strange things will happen related to Mothman. So That's all very important. Maybe the first time you see him, he'll just be there. The second time you see him, he'll deal a little damage. The third time you see him, he'll deal a lot of damage. And the fourth time you see him, he will shred up your base. Those are all things that we have to look out for, but we do know he's coming in a big way and has a very different role. There are 32 players. I already mentioned that, but there will be 24 to 32 players in a game. So I hope this information was helpful to you guys. I hope you guys appreciate it. If you do, please leave a like on the video, and let me know in the comment section down below what your questions are and if they've been answered yet. I'm Ender's Diamond, and thanks guys for watching.